Good evening and salam keluarga Malaysia. I'm Berita RTM and this is News at 10. Making our headlines tonight. Government introduces cloud computing service. Malaysia contingent continue winning streak in diving. The government has upgraded the Public Sector Data Centre (PDSA) into a cloud computing service known as MyGov Cloud. The system operates in a hybrid manner by combining the services of private cloud at PDSA and public cloud of the cloud service provider CSP appointed by the government. To empower MyGov Cloud, especially in the provision of public cloud services, a central cloud computing contract agreement known as Cloud Framework Agreement (CFA) was signed between the government, CSP and managed service provider MSP, a local cloud Bumiputra service provider appointed by CSP. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Yaakob today witnessed the exchange of CFA documents between the Malaysian Administrative Modernisation and Management Planning Unit MAMPU, a federal agency responsible for the public sector's digitalisation agenda, CSP and MSP at a ceremony in Putrajaya. In a statement today, Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri said the PDSA service has been upgraded to cloud computing service, especially for the use of all government agencies. He said the initiative is in line with the fifth initiative under Thrust 1 of the Malaysia Digital Economy Blueprint My Digital, which targets 80% usage of cloud computing storage across the public sector this year. The Premier said that the MyGov Cloud initiative could produce more experts in cloud computing through continuous training and certification programs provided by CSP and MSP, as well as enhance the competency and capability of civil servants in line with current needs and technologies. 60 detainees of the Rulau Immigration Temporary Detention Centre are currently still at large and manhunt operation is still ongoing. Immigration Department Director General Datuk Seri Khairul Zaimi Daud, in confirming the matter, reminded the public to not shelter or harbour the escapees from the authority.
Berdasarkan maklumat terkini, masih ada lagi 60 orang yang bebas dan usaha-usaha mengesan sebenarnya masih dilakukan. Dan kami syak bahawa mereka ini telah pun berada di dalam komuniti masing-masing. Kalau di sebelah utara mungkin berada di Pulau Pinang sana, dan ada juga yang mungkin telah sampai ke kawasan Selayang di Kuala Lumpur.
He added heavy punishments await for those found to be harbouring the escapees. Last month, 528 detainees staged a riot and broke out from the Rulau Immigration Temporary Detention Centre depot in Sungai Bakap, Kedah, where 442 of them have been re-arrested, while 6 others died in accidents while attempting to cross the route at kilometre 168 of North-South Expressway. On another matter, Datuk Seri Khairul informed that Immigration Department's online appointment system will be abolished this Wednesday. The move is expected to overcome the increasing traffic of applications and renewals of the Malaysian International Passport PMA. He also said that the operating hours of passport issuance offices and counters will be extended until 10 p.m. in several locations.
Pejabat-pejabat yang terlibat dengan pemanjangan tempoh operasi sehingga jam 10 malam ini ialah wilayah Persekutuan Putrajaya, iaitu di bangunan Menara Ikhlas ini, pejabat Kuala Lumpur, Selangor, Johor, Negeri Sembilan dan Melaka. Walau bagaimanapun, bagi negeri Pulau Pinang, Kedah, Perak, Kelantan, Terengganu, dan Perlis. Waktu operasi akan dipanjangkan sehingga jam 6 petang sahaja kerana permintaan di negeri-negeri ini tidaklah terlalu tinggi.
There is a sharp increase in passport application and renewal following the reopening of the country's borders, causing the online system to be congested. As of last Friday, a total of 165,449 passports were issued nationwide. The Road Transport Department (RTD) has issued a total of 16,377 summons for various traffic offences to motorists nationwide under the 2022 Hari Raya Aidilfitri Operation (HRA) since 29 April until yesterday. Its Director General, Datuk Zailani Hashim, said a total of 89,490 vehicles were inspected during the period. Datuk Zailani said the department has also issued a 776 notice P22 summons, which is an order for inspection involving 5 main offences. He said the errant motorist will face court action as the offences cannot be compounded. Speaking during the operation conducted at Jalan Kota Baru Pasir Pekan near Tumpat last night, Datuk Zailani said a total of 58,182 speeding offences were also detected through the 45 automatic awareness security system AWAS cameras installed at various locations nationwide over the same period.
Ada 45 unit AES atau kamera di seluruh negara. Daripada 45 tu 29 untuk speeding dan 16 untuk lampu isyarat di traffic light. So gagal mematuhi lampu isyarat 272, memandu di lorong kecemasan 143, menggunakan telefon bimbit semasa memandu 115, memotong barisan double line 206, dan itu jumlah dia 776.
Meanwhile, the Road Transport Department has also received a total of 245 complaints through the e-Aduan at JPJ application since the implementation of the Hari Raya Aidilfitri Road Safety Campaign and Integrated Operation on 29th April. Its Deputy Director General Planning and Operations, Adi Fadli Ramli, said most of the complaints were for overtaking and driving on emergency lanes. Explaining further, Adi Fadli said some of the complaints have been acted upon within 48 to 72 hours and reports of any incidents can be supported by sending videos and photos through the e-Aduan at JPJ system.
Kita baru saja wawarkan dalam tempoh seminggu sebelum 29 April hari itu. Jadi bila kita wawarkan supaya pengguna jalan raya buat aduan, kita dapati respon yang kita terima amat memberangsangkanlah. Selalunya jarang jugalah kita terima aduan-aduan melalui e-aduan ni.
He said this when met on the last day of the operation in Kuala Terengganu last night. Also present was Terengganu JPJ Director Zulkarnain Yassin. E-Aduan application can be downloaded by Google Play for Android smartphone users. Coming up, 5 wounded in house explosion. A family of 5 suffered injuries in an explosion believed to have been caused by cooking gas leakage at their home in Taman Cenderawasih, Nibung Tebal, Pulau Pinang last night. The explosion also caused at least 2 houses as well as a motorcycle and a car parked at the back and in front of the house to suffer damage. Fire and Rescue Department Operations Officer Abdul Shukur Muhammad Ilhami Musa said the department received information about the incident at 9:45 p.m. He said upon arriving, the firemen found that the damage on the 3 houses was similar to the effect of an explosion, probably due to cooking gas leakage. Meanwhile, Pulau Pinang State Exco P. Bunpoh said the victims comprised a 35-year-old man, his twin sons aged 5, and his 2 nieces aged 14 and 20. He said during the incident, the family had just returned home. As they were opening the door, there was an explosion that resulted in injuries to the victims. All 5 victims were sent to Pulau Pinang Hospital for further treatment. Over in Kelantan, a man and a woman, both locals and in their 30s, have been arrested by the police in connection with last Thursday pawn shop robbery in Pasir Mas involving losses of 1 million ringgit in cash and jewellery. Acting Kelantan Police Chief Datuk Muhammad Zaki Harun said the 2 suspects arrested on 6 May were now in remand until Thursday.
Dan kita masih lagi menerima maklumat-maklumat dari luar. Dan bagaimana yang kita sedia maklum, kereta itu dapat dijumpai di tempat. Jadi dalam itu pun ramai saksi yang tampil untuk membantu kita untuk mengesan siapakah terlibat ataupun siapakah yang membawa kereta ini. Dan kita dah kena pasti kereta. Dan insyaAllah kita akan selesaikan sebelum 12 hari bulan nanti.
Speaking to reporters in Tumpat, the acting Kelantan Police Chief urged witnesses or those with information on the robbery to contact the police to facilitate investigation. The Johor government hopes the State Smart City 2030 blueprint can empower the agenda in preparing all cities in the state to realise this aspiration by 2030. Johor Menteri Besar Dato' On Hafiz Ghazi said there were 7 smart city components that had been outlined, namely smart government, smart people, smart economy, smart living, smart mobility, smart environment and smart digital infrastructure. He said all these components would be a guide to face a new era of a developed state, which was not only related to the need to provide facilities and high technology, but also in terms of the developments of skilled and knowledgeable human capital. In a Facebook post today, he said the state government prioritizes a holistic development and expedite matters related to consideration of development plans for the revival of the state's economy that was affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. He also said that he chaired the first State Planning Committee SPC meeting this year, which, among others, discussed the Johor Smart City 2030 blueprint. Johor is aiming to attain the Smart City category for all its cities by the year 2030. The Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs Ministry, KPDN-HEP, will conduct an investigation on the issue of delays and rescheduling of domestic flights involving AirAsia. While taking note of consumers' grievances and complaints, its Minister Datuk Seri Alexander Nantalinggi said the issue of flight delays to various destinations in the country had been detected since the end of last month and was still ongoing. In a Twitter post today, he said KPDN-HEP will continue to conduct investigations from the aspect of consumers' interests and work with the Transport Ministry to resolve this issue and ensure it does not continue. Through the Twitter thread, the minister also shared some complaints and grievances of consumers who were dissatisfied with the rescheduling of AirAsia flights, which were posted on social media. He also reminded consumers of their right to claim compensation to continue their journey, adding that this was subject to several factors and reasons for flight delays or cancellations based on information from the Malaysian Aviation Commission MAVCOM web portal. The compensation may include meals, phone calls and internet access for delays of 2 hours or more, hotel accommodation and transportation for delays of 5 hours or more, and a full refund or alternative flight if the original flight is cancelled. The only exemption to getting this compensation is in the event of extraordinary circumstances, including security risks or extreme weather conditions, which the airline cannot anticipate. Moody's Analytics has projected that Malaysia's economy had grown 1.1% quarter-on-quarter in the first quarter of 2022, following the 6.6% expansion in the fourth quarter last year. It said the gains from a robust external position have largely extended into the opening months of 2022. In a statement today, it said a rise in private consumption after the easing of COVID-19 restrictions and policy shift towards living with the virus is likely to have supported March quarter growth. Additionally, it said Bank Negara Malaysia (BNM) is expected to keep its benchmark policy rate steady at 1.75% during its May meeting. As for the Asia-Pacific economy, the financial services company said inflation readings for April are expected to trend higher in Asia. India's Consumer Price Index (CPI) is likely to have risen to 7.3% year-on-year last month, from 7.0% in March, reflecting higher food prices and elevated energy costs. Similarly, the CPI in Indonesia is expected to increase to 3.0% year-on-year in April from 2.6% previously. Meanwhile, Kenanga Research said as BNM is broadly expected to keep the overnight policy rate OPR unchanged at 1.75% and the US dollar index DXY to remain elevated at around 104.0, the ringgit may continue to trade under pressure. BNM is scheduled to have its third monetary policy meeting on 11th May, while the announcement of economic and financial developments in Malaysia in the first quarter of 2022 will be made on 13th May. Malaysia thrashed England 5-0 in Thomas Cup race. More about that in our sports segment. All right, we'll begin our sports segment with SEA Games news. The national diving squad continued their winning streak at the 31st SEA Game with Ooi Tze Liang bagging Malaysia's third gold medal after topping the men's 1-meter springboard final at the Maidin Aquatic Centre earlier today. Tze Liang put on a magnificent display to collect 377.70 points overall and in the process beat 6 other divers. This is Tze Liang's second personal gold medal at this game and 12th in the biennial sports meet after also winning the men's 3-meter springboard with Chew Yi Wei yesterday. Tze Liang hoped the gold medal would be able to boost other athletes' morale. The silver medal was won by Avir Tampaklun of Singapore, who collected 286.40 points, while rising national diver Bertrand Roddick Anatlises won his maiden SEA Games medal when he secured the bronze after collecting 284.90 points. Meanwhile, for Bertrand Roddick described winning the bronze medal as a beautiful after early unofficial results placed him at the 4th place behind Thai diver Chawanwat Juttapadawan. This is Bertrand's first gold medal in his career. Meanwhile, Ng Yang Nyi, Ong Ke Ying produced outstanding performances to dominate the women's synchronized 3-meter springboard event, awarding Malaysia 4th gold medal. Yan Yi, Ke Ying, who are partnering for the first time on international stage, were crowned winners when they collected an overall of 276.30 points in 5 dives. Host pair Mai Hong Han Ngo Pong Mai amassed 237.57 points for the silver, while the bronze medal went to Singapore's Ashley Tan Yi Suan Fong Kei Yan with 229.41 points. Diving squad will continue to hunt for gold tomorrow when Yan Yi and Ke Ying take on the nation's challenge in the women's individual 3-meter springboard, while Jelson Jabilin Hanis Nazirul Jayasuriya would be competing in the men's synchronized 10-meter platform. Malaysia is targeting to make a clean sweep of the 8 diving gold medals in competition in this edition of SEA Games. The Malaysian men's badminton squad kicked off the 2022 Thomas Cup Finals campaign in stunning fashion after securing a 5-0 victory against England in the opening fixture of Group D at the Impact Arena in Bangkok, Thailand today. Rising star Ng Zi Yong confirmed the winning point for Malaysia after defeating Johnny Tojusen 21-16, 19-21, 21-11 after he was put to work for 65 minutes. Yong was gutted to having to surrender the second set to Torjussen due to a strong draft inside the venue, but was pleased that he was able to find his way out to contribute the third point for the team. Earlier, Lee Zijia proved too strong for Toby Pandy as he raced to a comfortable 8-love lead in the earlier stage of the opening game before taking the first set 21-10 and successfully put the national team 1-love ahead with a 21-15 win in the next set. Tokyo Olympics 2020 men's doubles bronze medalist Aaron Chia So Woo Yik doubled the lead for Malaysia after they overcame a strong challenge from Ben Lane Sean Vandy in the second set. Men's double Goh Zifei Noor Izzuddin continued the winning momentum as they outperformed Rory Easton Zach Cruz 21-13, 21-9 to make it Malaysia 4, England love. National third singles Leong Junhao capped off a wonderful day for Malaysia as he needed just 40 minutes to get past Cholan Kayan in 21-11, 21-18. The national contingent is scheduled to face off against the United States tomorrow.
Together, hand in hand, we're running right. Together we are high to the finish line. Tomorrow is so bright for everyone who will try. Let's shine.
And that's all the time we have for today. Our top story for today: government upgrades public sector data center into cloud computing service. Don't forget to tune in to updates at noon on TV2 and Salam Berita RTM for more updates. I'm Syahda Arifin. Thank you for watching and Salam Keluarga Malaysia.